Everybody, it's the Rob from 106.1 KISS FM and 103GBFRocks.com. Alongside my tag team partner in podcasting, please welcome to the show the phenomenal Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Stick around for the end of the show when Rob and I kick each other in the nuts.
You know, I titled this one, again, I always try to find something buzzworthy to call this. I called it Shinsuke Nakamura breaks AJ Styles' face at WWE Backlash.
That was gruesome. Because that was definitely hard way.
Well, it was and it wasn't. Gruesome. It was definitely hard way. But it was like
there's no debating that. Nobody blades their cheek.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna stand before you defending that one. But man, that was great. Backlash was last night. You want to just jump right into things, Jer?
You want to give grades? I feel like
yes.
After reading a lot of what people were writing, I feel like I'm going to get smoked.
I haven't seen what anyone's written about it. What are people saying, and then what do you want to say about it?
People are saying that it was terrible, one of the worst pay-per-views, that they hated it, that the first match, it was all downhill from there, and it was garbage, and just panning it all over the place. And I'm not prepared to do that. In fact, up until the last three matches, I was sitting there with a solid B+, thinking that if there is a huge water cooler moment, that's all I need to get to an A with good finishing. I really, up until the last three matches, and we'll get into that. We'll get into Shinsuke and AJ, and then the tag match, and then the main event, which I can't believe that went last, in a minute.
That's exactly what I thought was going last.
I can't believe the title match didn't go last. Although when you see the finish for the title match, it makes sense in hindsight. But you think that the World Championship would be the main of freaking event. Stupid me. So I thought the first match was amazing. I mean, that was a really great match between Seth Rollins and The Miz, and it was
absolutely
that was an A match. I don't know if I want to put it as match of the year or anything like that, but I really loved it. It was definitely match of the night.
If we're talking main roster, it's one of the best matches we've seen this year. But I can think of at least 3 NXT matches that have beaten it this year, personally.
And that's why I haven't written it down. That's why I didn't put it in my notes. But I thought that was a great match. And then I'll just run through quickly, and then we can dig in because I want to hear what you have to say about it. I thought the Nia Jax Alexa Bliss stuff was great storytelling. I found myself captivated, laughing, and enjoying the whole Elias, New Day, No Way Jose, Rusev, that whole thing. I enjoyed it way more than I ever expected that I would. I thought that was really well done and fun. I enjoyed the whole card, and I thought that the Shinsuke match with AJ Styles was on its way to being one of the better matches I've seen from them and in the year. And the finish cost it, my grade. And then the tag match was so forgettable. And the fact that the tag match started 10 minutes before 11 o'clock my time, I knew I was in trouble. And then we get that main event, which was God freaking F+ awful. So I wanted to give it a B+, but I feel like I have to give it a C+.
I told myself, if you give this a grade above a D, then I need to curse at you.
Okay.
I won't do it because I appreciate this forum we've been given on GBF's web space. But if I cannot understand how you can grade the greatest Royal Rumble the way that you did.
Because that was garbage.
And it's not just that, it was the criticism you had of the show, how nothing happened, how no titles changed hands, how if you missed it, you missed nothing. How can you give the greatest Rumble a D, and at any point in time last night outside of that first match being like a B or A range, for last night's show. I do not understand this at all.
I was rocking and rolling. I was loving this show. I was having a good time with it. And then the wheels came off the wagon. I enjoyed the Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. You could say nothing happened, but that was their blow off match. You could tell that's the end of that.
I thought, listen, that match was really solid. And I thought, to be honest with you, the wrestling from top to bottom was really solid. That first match was match of the night for sure. I loved Nakamura and AJ finally having, at least getting closer to the match that I wanted them to have.
That was a great match. I don't know. I guess they want to prolong it, so they didn't give us the finish. And
then I actually didn't really mind. I'll admit I was kind of dozing because it was late, and I do resent when these cards go over 3 hours.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate Roman and Joe, to be honest with you. It seems like you did.
I hated it. And I kind of hate the WWE for making me not care about when one of my favorite wrestlers comes out in Kevin Owens. Like, thanks for making me not care about this.
I don't understand. I don't understand how you could give the Greatest Rumble a D and this. What did you give it, a C+?
A C+, but I could be talked into a C.
How? I don't understand how we're even in this league. When you look at you need to go back and watch your Greatest Royal Rumble recap, your thoughts on it, why you gave it the grade you gave it.
Because it was terrible. And it was way too long. 5 hours kills it. 20 jabronis in a Royal Rumble kills it. Stupid. Also,
so if those jabronis are dancing in a conga line, it's better.
That was funny. That was funny. That entertained me. 9 times out of 10, those spots just pissed me off. But that was good last night. It was great, and it ended the right way. It ended with Bobby Roode coming out and go, boom, glorious, and then they go to the back of the stage. It'll be the one time I give No Way Jose any credit whatsoever. That was funny. JoJo, you know what to do. Hit the lights. He just kept going back to JoJo. That was hilarious. That was okay. That was good. That was entertainment. Cass and Daniel Bryan was good. That was a good match. That was surprisingly good.
I thought it was actually surprisingly worse than I was expecting.
It was good. It was okay. It was all right. Daniel Bryan did all the work. That was fine.
Jared, I thought there's no way we'd be having this conversation.
Did I win the lock?
You did, yeah.
That's why you hate it.
Absolutely. I really don't give a rat's ass about the lock.
That's why you hate it. I got 2 locks in a row, and you hate it.
I can't. I just can't with this. This show was so much worse than the Greatest Rumble. And
I'm pulling it up because I gave you my shot by shot. I want to hear you tell me why, other than what I said was bad, because I said a lot of stuff was bad there, other than the main event, which was garbage, the fact that it went too long, which was terrible, and the ending of the Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles match. And I'll even give you the forgettability of the tag match. Aside from all of that,
it's starting to look like Chris Jericho's list of moves.
What was wrong with this?
Absolutely nothing happened.
Headlock.
Arm bar.
That is forever one of my favorite things he's ever done, is when he was the man of 1,001 holds.
All right, so I admit I love the first match. I feel like the first match is actually a Miz match more than a Seth Rollins match, because those Miz matches that we were clamoring about, like over a year ago, they all, like, the way they tell the story is the same. That's not a complaint. It's just, it's efficient. It works. And it reminded me of one of those matches. You're not even listening to me. You're in computer land.
No, I'm listening. I'm looking at the order of all the matches. You're saying that it's a Miz match. It's not really a Seth Rollins match. It's what we got from the Miz about a year ago. I'm listening to you. You pain in the ass. I'm getting the list ready because I want you to run down the card.
And I also thought Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax was good for what it should be.
Right. Told a good story.
Right.
So far on this pay-per-view, we're in A range.
But let's be real here for a second. No one expected Miz to take the IC title to SmackDown last night because the US title was never in jeopardy of leaving shows.
I didn't think so either, but then you said something that made a lot of sense on Thursday.
That it doesn't, maybe it doesn't mean that The Miz stays on SmackDown?
You said it's wrestling. It's wrestling. They could do whatever the heck they want, and they could explain it any way they want to do it.
That's absolutely true.
And for that reason, I was like, holy hell, he could. It made more sense to give it to Seth Rollins right now. I think Seth Rollins needs it more. I think Seth Rollins I think Raw needs it more because of the lack of Brock Lesnar. They need something. They need somebody that's a champion to really do some damage there. And Seth Rollins is going to carry the torch right now for them. What about Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton? This was like the first Randy Orton match where I wasn't totally bored. Thank you, Jeff Hardy.
It was nothing that you had to see.
So far we get to Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, and we're at an A still, right?
No, we're not at an A. An A?
We're in it. Okay, so we're in A with Seth Rollins and The Miz.
If you've got solid wrestling and nothing else, you're at like a C range to me.
Oh, Loney. We got the good match in the beginning that's got me in an A. I'm feeling an A. This is where I'm thinking. The Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, good storytelling, blows off that feud. Well done. Also, nice bazongas, Alexa. Still in an A.
I give those a double D.
Double D. You know. So Jeff Hardy comes out. Randy Orton threatens an A at all times. I see Randy Orton. This guy's got no juice. I'm like, oh, now we're in a B+ range. Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton put on a surprisingly interesting match. Jeff Hardy retains, B+. Still living in the B+ zone. New Day, Rusev Day, Elias, Glorious, all of that.
Look, this is not how I grade pay-per-views.
Daniel Bryan and Big Cass gets it back to an A.
Absolutely not. Were you watching that match or just assuming it was because Daniel Bryan was in it?
I watched everything. I didn't fast forward a second of it. And you're not a gentleman for assuming so.
I'm not accusing you of fast forwarding. I'm accusing you of maybe getting preoccupied. And I'll be honest with you, I got preoccupied at stuff too, including the main event.
No, Evan came downstairs at that point in time, but he was excited. He just sat on the couch and we were doing the yes chant. We were doing yes the whole time. And he was doing great. Daniel Bryan was doing great. And we were having a blast. And then he wins. He taps him out. Woo! Boom! Big Cass gets his heat back. That's some storytelling.
I'll be honest with you. Had the show ended after the Daniel Bryan match, I would have said the worst match so far was the Daniel Bryan match.
You be serious.
No, what match was the Jeff Hardy match was better than it. And for what it was, the first women's match was better than it, not the second one.
Is it because you don't like Cass?
No, I want Cass to do well, and I think that he will, but that match last night wasn't an A.
Well, it wasn't an A, but it was still good. And then what about Carmella and Charlotte? I thought that was pretty weak. That wasn't super great.
If you watch a bunch of Daniel Bryan matches, then you watch the match with Cass, it was okay. It wasn't great.
Exciting. It was exciting. Which brings me to another point that I have. I didn't want to spend the whole podcast arguing grade with you.
Let's do it.
But I will.
I'll do it.
But I will.
And listen, since we're 9 days after the Rumble, I will pick this fight.
I wanted to say, however, something we could agree on is that at the end of the pay-per-view, that main event sucked, and I think they turned the mics down on the crowd. I'm convinced of it. That crowd was hot. Why would they turn the mics down on the crowd? That crowd was hot and loud the whole time. And then all of a sudden you could barely hear their disgust with the main event. They were loud that entire show. And then all of a sudden could barely hear that this is boring. Could barely hear that this is awful.
Which match were we talking about? The main event?
The main event.
Boy, I'll tell you, like I said, I was kind of dozing during the main event, but it seemed kind of exciting to me.
Oh my God. My God. It was rest hold city. Roman Reigns is the worst. This was bad. And the crowd was not buying it. And the crowd was awful. And they were chewing him alive the whole time. And you could see Samoa Joe getting frustrated.
Well, here's the thing is
that was a bad main event. And that's why I'm not giving it a B. I'm not giving it an A. Well, I had an A. And then they lost it.
I haven't even given you my score yet.
Well, clearly it's not higher than a D.
You don't know that.
You just told me if I scored it higher than a D, that you were going to yell at me.
Only because
so how could you score it higher than a D?
Nothing upon what my grade is, based upon what your grade was from the Greatest Rumble. Based upon what you
apples to oranges.
Yes, you can. We're comparing wrestling to wrestling. We're comparing WWE wrestling to WWE wrestling. We're comparing apples to apples.
Yeah, but we don't compare a Raw to a WrestleMania. And you can't compare a Greatest Royal Rumble, which was 5 hours of trash in Saudi Arabia house show, to a pay-per-view like Backlash, of one of the big five.
See, this is when you have to start throwing out everything he says, because this is when you can tell he's doing a bit.
I'm not doing a bit.
You're doing a bit.
No, that was a joke. That was one joke, and I made a joke, and it was funny, and it got a laugh out of you, and I win. But I'm not doing a bit. I truly believe that you can't compare my D at the Greatest Royal Rumble to my C+ here at the. That's not fair. And if you give it higher than a D, now I'm going to curse at you because you just gave me crap for giving it higher than a D.
I'm not giving you crap based on my score. I'm giving you crap based on your score from 9 days ago.
They're different shows, and the one in Saudi Arabia was worse. It was a worse show.
You're being serious? If you you're saying that the Greatest Rumble is worse than Backlash?
I swear to you, when we're off the air, you pick whatever you want me to swear on, and I will do it. I promise you. I mean it.
If you're going to tell me here, I don't know. Are you really thinking about this?
Not a bit. Of course I'm thinking about this. The Greatest Royal Rumble was trash. It was garbage, and I was in a position to love that show. Because I had surgery that day. I got to come home, take pills, sit on my couch, and not lift a finger. This was going to be my holiday. And the WWE ruined it with terrible wrestling. Terrible wrestling. Stupid show.
It had a ladder match. It had Brock Lesnar in a cage. It had a 50-man Royal Rumble. It had pyro. Had an awesome set.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened last night.
That's the baloney. They blew off the Alexa Bliss feud. He did that. They moved along the Daniel Bryan and Big Cass thing.
Titus tripped.
That's good. That was good. That was the highlight. Notice that's the only thing anyone's talking about.
This is the only thing I care about. Is just the post universe will definitely know the Greatest Royal Rumble was better than last night's Backlash. And I still haven't given my grade yet.
Ask that question to them, because I know a lot of them. I saw them talking today on Facebook, and a lot of them hated the show.
Because I haven't seen this.
They've commented on a couple things. I saw it.
Oh, are you making that up, or did you really see it?
No, I don't have it open right now, but I saw Michael, and I saw Steven, and I saw a couple people commenting about last night, and Benny, and commenting about how last night's show was terrible after the first match. It was all downhill. I saw that. They commented on an old
I've only seen one from Mike, who commented on one of our videos and said he didn't see it but heard it was awful.
Heard it was awful, but then someone else said it was all downhill from there.
I guess I haven't seen anything since then. Okay. My score is really actually not too terribly far off from yours.
Oh, I'm going to give you the biggest bag of crap.
I was going to give it a D+, but could be talked up to a C-. And you could be talked to a C, which means we're touching noses on grades.
Why in the hell are you giving me grief?
It's so easy to answer that question. It's based on what you said about the Rumble. For you to give this a better grade, not only that, a significantly better grade, to me is asinine. Asinine.
You have me. It's like I'm in front of Congress explaining a Facebook breach. I feel like I'm being interrogated. I'm in the middle of a deposition, and you give it the same goddamn grade that I do. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You need to be consistent. Now, all of your scores need to be thrown away. This is like back in the fast forward gate of 2016.
What do you mean? I fast forwarded 3 or 4 matches at one time.
Then you're not watching the same show we are.
I did. It was a good show from what I saw.
Yeah, you could probably cut down the Greatest Rumble and make it, a B.
Yeah, if I watch the ladder match and then turn it off.
Sure, that's what you were doing.
But I've corrected that. No more fast forwarding. And I watched the whole slog last night, and I still thought it was good. C+.
I can't be the only person. Like, I know that people accuse me of being inconsistent when I gave that show a good grade, and I admit the Friday thing did appeal to me. Obviously, I liked having a super show on a different day.
You love Fridays.
I do love Fridays.
TGIF.
But this is even more inconsistent than any grade I've ever given.
That's hogwash. That's hogwash. My grandma Espy would say that's balloon juice. It's a bunch of hot air. It's just a bunch of hot air.
So it sounds like we're kind of in agreement as
to
what
on the show.
Yeah, so I mean, I can be talked into a C-, and you can be talked into a C. So I mean, we're next to each other.
So to that point, are you saying that the Greatest Royal Rumble was that much better than this show? Because you gave that an A.
I did not give that an A.
Didn't you? I thought you gave it like an A- or.
I think I gave it A-, B+. I think I did.
All right. Well, then that's A. That's A-.
It's B+.
Okay. Is it that much better though than Backlash?
Yeah, I think that a year from now we'll remember what happened at the Greatest Rumble. We won't remember what happened at Backlash. Like, do you remember what happened at Battleground last year? What was routinely panned as being one of the worst shows?
I remember one match from Battleground.
Right.
The one that stuck out was the John Cena Rusev flag match. That was so bad.
I bet you a year from now we'll remember everything that happened at the Greatest Rumble because it was special and it was different. And
I remember last year's Backlash.
I mean, if I sat and thought about it, I might get to it, but I can't off the top of my head.
That's the one where Jinder Mahal won the championship for the first time.
Okay, yeah. Can you tell me any other match that happened?
No.
Right, exactly. The Rumble was special. We'll remember that one because they did stuff to stand out. I mean, here's the thing. Here's my question to the viewers. Just tell me the Rumble was better than Backlash. Talking about the card, the whole entire thing. Keeping in mind all the special attractions.
That's the poll.
I'll admit the wrestling was better on Backlash.
Yes, of course it was.
No match at the Greatest Rumble was as good as the opening match of Backlash last night. But as a show, the Greatest Rumble was better than Backlash.
It was 5 hours. It was way too long. You lost us. And after the 5-hour WrestleMania, it's the 12-hour WrestleMania. You have to take the length of the show into consideration.
Yes, you do.
I want to hear what people say about this. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say about it is, which did you think was better show? The Greatest Royal Rumble or Backlash? I say Backlash. I can't believe we fought the whole time.
I know that people want to agree with you. It's become the cool thing to do to side with you.
That's not true.
But I'll go for this, sure. Guys, if everyone's argument about the Greatest Rumble was that nothing happened, even less happened last night. Look at this guy. He's a clown.
they blew off the Alexa Bliss Nia Jax thing. That happened.
There you go. There you go. All right.
Clown.
Thanks, Jer.
Hogwash.
I'll chat with you tomorrow. Balloon knot juice or whatever.
I hope it's not as combative.